Welcome. Thank you for waiting around. I'm joined by Kiana and Tammy, and I think Starkey is just by the door. Welcome to Shelby on Safari. It is a very exciting week this week because it's the lead up to the Festivale event on Animal Crossing. Woohoo! I'm so excited. I don't know if you guys saw the Nintendo trailer for it. It is a fantastic looking update to the game. So much fun, including a new little character, which is going to be the star of our show because we are going to discuss Pave and what real life animal he is like. And I'll also give you a few little insights into Mardi Gras and Carnival, the events, the real world events that have inspired Festivale and Animal Crossing. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Shelby. I'm a wild animal biologist who loves to look at animals and animals in pop culture, specifically Animal Crossing tonight. I am relatively new to the game and still learning the ins and outs of building my island. I will admit, my island's a bit shabby at the moment. It is definitely needs a lot of love. I've been very good about not playing every day. Hello, Trail of the Wild. Oh my goodness, talk about a fantastic young up-and-coming YouTuber. He does some beautiful content exploring his own backyard, which turns out has a lot of amazing species. And I was so glad to hear your gecko is on the mend, my friend. Well done. Glad you got your little gecko friend to go poop. We have a leopard gecko as well named Skit, but she's just downstairs. And like I said, I have the cats here. So if you hear them scratching at the door or whatever, I apologize in advance. Well, thank you, Alice. My island's beautiful. Well, that's thanks to you. I have all the fruit and all the veg. Well, not really veg because I sold all my turnips earlier this week. And that's been fun, playing with this turnip stock market. There we are. I can talk. It is all good. And if you don't mind commenting if it all is good in the hood, because this is my first time using StreamYard, it says everything's working. I'm assuming if you're reacting to me, it is, but still I'm a bit nervous about it because I did create a PowerPoint to show you guys some cool photos as well on the side, but I think my computer's been a bit nifty. So with that in mind, like I said today, we are going to go through a few key things that are coming out in Animal Crossing and bringing it into the real life. And so with that in mind, Festivale, the Animal Crossing event, is based on two kind of amazing events that happen in the real world that hopefully you've heard of, and if not, we'll do a little brief introduction into them. The first one is Mardi Gras. So this is back in my part of the world, back in America, down in New Orleans, and it is a beautiful, colorful event. I think that's the big main thing of these two events and coming into Festivale is the color, the use of costumes. It is just a feast for the eyes, one might say. Now, Mardi Gras also has a different name. It's also known as Fat Tuesday, and it takes place this year on February 16th. So it takes place on the Tuesday. Now, traditionally, in the days leading up to Lent, people such as like merrymakers and such would binge on all the rich, the fatty, the delicious, amazing foods like meat and eggs and milk, cheese, you name it, they probably ate it, that were left in their homes in the anticipation of the several weeks during kind of Lent where you would only eat fish and, different people would do different types of fasting. And so that's why it has such an interesting name, such as Fat Tuesday. And there's quite a lot of activity that goes on in New Orleans. Sorry for the PowerPoint pictures coming up on the side, not quite working, but I encourage you to check it out because they do floats and there's lots of dancing. And the one thing that really stands out to me that I remember from Mardi Gras events, because it can take place not just in New Orleans, but around the States, but New Orleans is famous for it, is the Mardi Gras beads. And same time every year, wherever we went, we had like a little party. I remember always being eager and super excited to get the Mardi Gras beads because usually they throw them like off the float and you can catch them and you wear them. And they're just, plastic beads, but they're so fun, especially when you're a kid and it's something for free and you get to wear it and it's all shiny and glittery. I always would go for the purple ones, purple and green. Maybe that means like I'm the Hulk because those are his colors. But anyways, I digress. Mardi Gras is a fun, festive celebration. Like nowadays, they have parades. Well, before this time. I don't like to talk too much about the sadness that's going on in the world at last, but before COVID, they would have celebrations in the street. It would be, for my, American friends, like the Rose Parade, but much more colorful. For my UK friends who may not be familiar, the Rose Parade is a parade that happens in California on New Year's Day, and it takes place actually in my part of the world, in California, in Southern California, in Pasadena. And it's a beautiful parade. I encourage you to check it out if you have no idea what I'm talking about, because they create these floats that are entirely made of like organic matter. And by that, I mean like plants and flowers, and the creativity that goes into these things and the dedication and work that goes into it is mind-boggling. And a quick little story about that, actually. I got to go be a part of one of the Rose Parade floats many years ago. My grandma used to work for the city of Cerritos. Shout out to Cerritos in California. And it was a thing to go, and they had their own float. The city of Cerritos has quite a lot of money. And so they would buy a float. And that year it was gorillas. And obviously, being an animal person, I was like, dude, grandma, let's go. And so we had to get up really early and drive up to Pasadena. And we were literally gluing flowers onto one little section of the float. And I think, well, it wasn't that big. It was a little bit bigger than that, but it did take all day. Just the painstaking, detail and the glue. And, we got disgusting, all gross glue all over the place. But it was such a cool experience, because then you got to go, and it was really exciting. On New Year's Day, you wake up and the Rose Parade's on. You're like, oh my gosh, look at all the floats. And there's bands, one of your Disney characters made an appearance. That was really fun to see that. And then the gorilla float from the city of Cerritos came on. I had my little camera out and got a picture of it. I was like, oh, I did that gorilla's arm. It was the best thing ever. Anyways, Mardi Gras is very similar. They have the floats that are full and extravagant in colors. People are all dressed up. And that's why I'm so excited for the festival and Animal Crossing to be showcasing this. And I don't know if there'll be any floats. I didn't see anything that kind of looked like floats, like a little parade throughout your village. But what they did have, we'll cover in a bit, because we also want to talk about Carnival. Now, Carnival is beautiful as well. The colors and costumes are mind-boggling too, and it takes place same time of year, and it's all kind of related back to Catholicism, especially kind of in Brazil. And Carnival, the word itself, is actually derived from the Latin word carne vale, meaning goodbye flesh, which is quite interesting. So again, it's a kind of in the lead up to Lent, having that big celebration, and preparing, for feasting during Lent, or for fasting, sorry, not feasting. You feast and then you fast during Lent. And it starts on Ash Wednesday. And so the crazy thing about Carnival, because it's it is worldwide, it's taken from bits of the world, because the Portuguese settlers, a little bit of history, as you know, on Shelby on Safari, I like history as well, and I like to bring it in. The Portuguese settlers brought the festival of Carnivale with them when they came over and when they colonized Brazil in the early 1600s. And it was a bit more formal. There was lots of balls, lots of posh dressing up, but then it didn't take long, really, for the Afro-Brazilians to take it under their wing and turn it into what it is today. The beautiful colors, the celebration in the streets. And it is definitely something that looks like it would be a fantastic experience to see in person. They have stadiums. It's a big stadium, and the floats come in, and there's the dancers, and it's so elaborate. And I wish I could pull up the slides to show you the pictures, because I found some animal floats where there's like this tortoise one, and it looks like very Aztec, like kind of temple, and it is on the back. It looks like it's on the back of like this big tortoise. It was so cool looking, and it is just looks like so much fun. And with that, I thought I'd mention, the samba, because the samba it is the heart of Carnival. A lot of people say it's this very specific dance, and the samba does play a key role for a certain particular person that we will be meeting. So really quick, he has to go join hockey. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't notice. I was too busy talking about history. Well, we'll have fun at hockey. Definitely check out his channel, Trail of the Wild Wild. Like I said, he does some great content and he is so knowledgeable, like hashtag goals for when I was a kid. My goodness. And he just really knows his stuff and he has so much enthusiasm. I don't know about you guys, but I love watching content where the people are just so excited, like even about a rock. And if they get so excited, you're like, yeah, I love rocks too, you know? Anyways, and he's one of those guys. So with that in mind, I'll rehash for some of our new friends who've joined. Welcome back to Shelby on Safari. And we are going through some of the real life events leading up to Festivale and Animal Crossing's New Horizons, which is coming real soon. And I just had a brief little introduction into Mardi Gras and Carnival, the two real world events that definitely have influence. Kiana, naughty girl. Sorry, she knocked over the ring light. Naughty girl. Look at, she's like, yeah, whatever, mom. Anyways, so we were looking at the two real life events that influence Festivale, which we're going to go into now. So Festivale is happening on Monday the 15th. So that is next Monday. Really close, really exciting. And hopefully you guys have been playing Animal Crossing in the lead up to this, because in Nook's Cranny, in the cute little shop, you should have been seeing every day something a little new, a little different, some new items you can get to really, you know, spruce up your island. I have a little Festivale spot on the very corner of my island up the top by my new lighthouse, which was really exciting. I have the dance floor. I got some, you know, confetti popper things. I got the stall, you know, to sell some stuff, or at least pretend to. So there are new items there all the time. So definitely check out Nook's Cranny if you haven't been playing, so you can get these items in preparation. Now, when it comes to Festivale and Animal Crossing, I would say feathers are the name of the game, which again, spoilers for what we will be chatting about later when it comes to Pave. Now, with this, as you guys know, sometimes snow is falling in Animal Crossing. However, it looks like during this time, feathers will be falling from the sky, and you'll have to catch them with your net. So have a few nets armed and ready to go. But you can also get them from playing games with your villagers. And I should mention your villagers will all be dressed up in appropriate, fun, colorful gear. And also the Able sisters have started selling a lot of like the dresses and the kit and things like that. I have a little green dress, which you might have seen in the thumbnail. I had to go for green, although I like purple too. But it was just really, it's just fun, colorful stuff. And so get your items ready to go in time for Monday the 15th when Festivale lands in Animal Crossing. And with these feathers, I should mention that it's not just one color. There's red, there's green, there's blue, purple, and then there's rainbow feathers. Now, these feathers are going to help you entice Pave to dance and to possibly give you some Pave-related items as well. So definitely spend some time on Monday catching those feathers or chatting with your villager friends and doing some games to get them to create some items. Well, at least to get some items. I haven't seen anything yet that suggests that you can get some DIY recipes. However, you never know. They may be released. So definitely keep your eyes out in the lead up as well to get those items before so you can decorate your island. But I haven't seen anything to suggest DIY projects. Now, there's also some reactions, as my friend Alice kindly showed me the other day while we were playing, that you can buy just specifically for this event. You can get the Feeling It reaction, the Let's Go reaction, and the Viva and Confetti reaction. So all sorts of fun, some crazy dances that your little icon can do, which is rather fantastic, I think. And so I didn't realize, actually, this is how new I am at Animal Crossing, because people kept giving me, or villagers kept giving me reactions. And I was like, whoa. I thought my reaction bubble filled up. And then I only realized that I could actually control what reactions I put in like the quick menu. And so obviously I put in some of the funny Festivale ones because I loved the idea of my little character trying to dance. I thought it was rather amusing. With that, actually, if you guys want to let me know what reactions you like and enjoy to use, so I can try them out on my friend, because I haven't explored it as much, but there's quite a variety of reactions. There's the surprised, there was, God, what was it? The forgetful one. I thought that one was funny because that I feel that hit a little too close to home. So we've gone through some of the real world events that are coming up that really have inspired Festivale, which was exciting. We looked at Mardi Gras and Carnival in Brazil, but then we also quickly covered some of the events that are happening in Festivale, like feathers, how you got to catch those. But why, if you were listening carefully, I mentioned the samba is very important, as well as feathers. Well, it comes down to the fun friend that we will meet on Monday the 15th, named Pave. Those of you who may have played Animal Crossing before definitely will recognize Pave as a wonderful looking peacock who is dressed up, ready to party. And that is why he's coming to our island on Monday the 15th for Festivale. He is going to party in the area in your plaza in front of Town Square, which is going to be quite exciting. Now, in Animal Crossing, there's a few little tidbits. Oh, Alice likes haunt. Is that the one where, like, you make the scary face? Because I remember you were doing that a lot on my island. And I was like, is she okay? I think that must be that one. But then again, you have a really cool... You have a lot of pumpkins as well. I feel like your whole island is like Halloween inspired. But I think Rita might be in charge of the pumpkin patch, if I might not be mistaken. So with this is actually for you, Alice. When I saw this fact, you probably already know because you are probably KK Slider's biggest fan. But Pave might seem familiar because he is on the cover of KK Samba. Whoa, hello. And samba, of course, is the dance that is the heart of Carnival down in Brazil. And Pave, it seems, is a nice representation of that, even though I think Pave is an Indian peacock. But we'll get to that soon. Anyways, so Pave in Animal Crossing, he's on the cover of KK Samba. He loves feathers because that's what you guys are going to collect on Monday to catch them all and get some cool Pave-themed items and such. But Pave also loves to dance. He does enjoy telling you that, and hopefully, that would be fun to do some dancing with Pave. And I don't know what particular type of dance Pave will be doing, but I do know what his real-life animal counterpart, the Indian peacock, does enjoy doing, which is definitely the animal that I will be comparing Pave to because, well, when you see Pave, I feel like a lot of kids, that's probably one of the first birds that they can recognize is the peacock just because of their tail feathers and just how bright and colorful they are. Oh, Rita likes to dance too? Excellent. How about the samba? Do you do the samba? Or the tango or anything like that, Rita? So in real life, there are actually 3 different species of peafowl. We have the Indian, the green, and the Congo. And I want to talk about the Indian peafowl today specifically because they are quite world travelers in a sense. And it made me think of Pave because he's, traveling to all of our different islands, making his way around and being full of life and celebrating. And there's also been a few interesting studies on the Indian peafowl. So first of all, I should probably say where they're found. They're found from eastern Pakistan all the way through India, and then even from the Himalayas all the way down south to Sri Lanka. And so that's quite a solid range for the Indian peafowl. And the craziest thing, well, actually, it's not the craziest thing. I always am surprised by the lifespan of animals. I don't know about you guys, but when flamingos, when they're like, oh, flamingos can live up to 90 years old. I'm like, what? You don't think gosh, I don't know, it's just crazy. But Indian peafowl can live anywhere from 20 to 24 years of age. That just strikes me as a long time. Goodness. It makes me feel old though. But anyways, they are sexually dimorphic. Now, I've talked about this in a few different of my previous videos. So sexually dimorphic means essentially, the males and the females look different. Now, typically, this is quite common in birds, because males, and we see it a lot in all the nature documentaries, the crazy birds doing the cool dances and whatnot. And this is true for peacocks. Males are the ones that have the big, beautiful feathers like Pave demonstrates in Animal Crossing. And the females, well, they don't. I mean, they're still pretty looking, but they just don't have the big, elaborate flowers. And that's, of course, so the males can try to attract the ladies and impress them. And so with that in mind, these feathers are rather intense. Yes, they look pretty. However, the male ornamental flowers, the sheer size of them is what is rather impressive. And with that, the feathers account for more than 60% of the total body length. Over 60% of their entire body length is made up of feathers. That's insane. So peafowl, male Indian peafowl, are about 7.5 feet long, one might say. Their tail feathers alone, the train, is about maybe up to 5.5 feet of that. 5.3, I'd say, if we're being specific. That is just nuts. That's a lot of feathers. And that's why I was like really excited to see the connection between feathers and Animal Crossings with the festival, and, you know, go into some of the cool facts about peacock feathers, because they were rather intense. Oh, hello, Kath. Are you there? I don't see Kath. But alas, but I feel bad, because we were talking about Pave in Animal Crossing and how he likes to dance, you know, the samba, and he's very bright and colorful. And we find that the real world Indian peafowl, well, they're bright and colorful as well, and their feathers are impressive and whatnot. And we seem to forget about the females. And shout out to the Indian peafowl out there, or peahen, I should say. They lay 3 to 12 eggs. I mean, they're dull in color. Most people are like, ooh, peacocking, you know, and it's all the male beautiful feathers. But I still think that's pretty impressive, laying 3 to 12 eggs. I don't know. Your thoughts? I just wanted to give him a shout, because whenever we talk about, you know, the peafowl, it's always, oh, the males are so pretty, males this, males that. So that's why I had to throw that in there. For all the ladies out there, the lady Indian peafowl. So males mate with a variety of different females during the breeding season. And they also don't help raise the young. Surprise. So a drastic turn of events here with talking about Pave. But again, I thought I'd just, you know, remind, you know, males do make their way and they do display. And I can't imagine the effort they go into to preening those feathers, keeping them nice, and doing the dances. And especially if they make up, you know, 60% of their total body length, that must be some heavy work, you know, heavy lifting, quite literally carrying all those feathers around. But alas, they don't help with the young. Now, the worldwide traveling connection. Again, friends, it should come as no surprise that with history in mind, I had to bring up some more history, especially with the Indian peafowl, because they are quite worldwide travelers. And when I say that, I mean, well, they didn't really have a choice. But traders back in 1000 BC introduced them to present-day Syria and to the Egyptian pharaohs. And some would say that this kind of cycle of getting, you know, taking peafowl out and bringing them to parts of the world possibly could have saved them from extinction, because now there's not really any left in Bangladesh. And, you know, bringing the peafowl out into the world, obviously into non-native places, you know, might have not been the best idea. However, you know, with how common they are now, and they're not just, you know, they weren't just brought to Syria and to Egypt. That's not it. Alexander the Great, shout out to him, one of my favorite historical figures. He also played a part in this. He liked the peafowl, and obviously the colors are quite transfixing, and he imported them to his massive kingdom, if you will, even though he wasn't a king, but dominion of, you know, the Mediterranean. He imported them, so he helped out with kind of expanding their range. And as such, both during the Roman times and even Middle Ages, the peafowl was regarded as a status symbol and almost kind of revered just because of their beauty. And so this association with humans and, you know, them being brought all over the world possibly could have helped them, you know, escape the brink of extinction. And like I said earlier, you know, a lot of kids, that's probably one of the first birds they recognize, because they are quite, you know, quite a beautiful bird. So that's my little history tidbit then. Now into some fun science stuff. Oh, I must say, I do love looking into using Google Scholar and looking up some crazy weird studies, especially on some animals like the Indian peafowl. It is trippy about their hearing. I had no idea about this. All right, guys. So peafowl are thought to use low frequencies that are almost generated by the male's tail feathers and the wing feathers, I should say, because they actually do, a lot of fluttering, a lot of dancing, if you will, during their courtship displays. And their crest feathers specifically are supposedly reported to resonate at infrasound frequencies. Hi, Peter. Did you want to come up and join us? Tammy's literally just here. He's actually leaning against the computer, and Peter was trying to come up. Anyway, sound. So specifically, we're going to go into some numbers here real quick as we cover, the real life animal of the Indian peafowl. That's like Pave from Animal Crossing. It's interesting that he likes to dance, though, because music might be a little loud. Because peafowl, in this one particular study, they were measuring kind of how much the peafowl can hear, what frequencies they can. Peafowl were able to respond, so audibly hear and respond to frequencies that are as low as 4 hertz. There we go. Here he is. Come on. That's my water. Can you say hi? Did you want to say hi, Pete? You are just off camera. I'm going to turn. Oh, people don't want to see that. You try to do a live stream and you get interrupted by your cats all the time because I think Starkey opened the door. Anyway, so they can hear frequencies as low as 4 hertz. Now humans, okay, you think, okay, 4 hertz, where does that revolve around me? Is that good? Is that bad? Humans can only hear down to 20. So they can certainly hear a lot better than we can. And the reason, there's a few different reasons about this. Like they said about the, mateship and courtship displays. And I don't know, I just think that is so cool that they can hear that low. But then why are their feathers doing that in the first place? Why are they like vibrating? And it's quite tricky to look into things like that. But the feathers are vibrated in such a way to almost create maximum movement with having little, energy use. And obviously it depends on the weight and the height and all sorts of stuff of the individual bird. But this is the craziest bit. So while the males are vibrating, their tail feathers and all sorts, as you look at a peafowl's tail, you can see the little eye spots in the middle. While the rest of the feathers are vibrating, that eye spot stays stationary. And so it's super transfixing. Imagine like you're a peahen, and staring at this bird and his feathers are all over the place. And as we've seen, they're quite long. So that's pretty much based on like the peahen's height and the peacock's height. Your field of vision is taken up by all these ridiculously crazy, colorful feathers. And not just that, when he starts trying to be like, hey, lady, and the feathers are shaken, the eye spots don't move, and everything behind, like all the blues and the greens are vibrating behind it. Like that must be like, whoa, very transfixing. And they must just be like, what's going on? So as if that wasn't cool enough, seeing, looking into the sound frequencies of peacock's feathers while they're doing courtship displays, another study found that males may orient themselves when they're doing these courtship displays towards the sun. And you're like, all right, why is that? And they suggest that they looked at the specific angle as well. I love this. They suggested that having an angle of about 45 degrees relative to the sun may allow males to almost enhance the appearance of their feathers, the iridescent feathers, so the kind of blue and green ones that are shaking behind the stationary eye spot ones. I just thought that was rather entertaining that they looked specifically at the orientation of them and where they dance in the sun. I don't know if Pave pays that much attention to where he dances. We don't know. Maybe he did go ahead and talk to Tom Nook and said, hey, where's the best place, for me to stand to do my dance, to impress everybody on the island? We don't know these things. Who knows? That is to be decided. But I'd love to hear from you guys. Are you guys looking forward to Festival? Are you guys gonna, get your dresses and your costumes and everything all ready to go to celebrate on Monday? I'm super excited. I have, I think I mentioned earlier, my little spot on my island on the top of my cliffs that I have my little setup next to my garden lounge chair and bird bath. I probably should get that adjusted. I was thinking about having it closer to Pave, but then I thought actually having it a bit more remote and off the beaten path might be nice, you know, in case the party's going on late at night. But alas, there we go. Oh, Alice, you have your costume ready. Fabulous. What color did you go for, Alice? Did you go for kind of the ready pink one? Because I think that might be your favorite color. Let me know. And alas, I want to thank you guys for joining me on another quick Animal Crossing real world animal comparison video. Apologies for it getting off to a little less than perfect start with the timings and everything. Thank you for being most gracious. Just to quickly recap before we go, so the real life festivals that have inspired Festivale and Animal Crossing New Horizons, definitely look into Mardi Gras and Carnival just to see the beautiful pictures and the costumes that actually happen in our life. I think it's so beyond me, just the detail that goes into these beautiful costumes and the floats as well. I mentioned some of the crazy ones from Carnival, which are more animal related, which are beautiful. But then, of course, we talked a little bit about the history, specifically of Carnival and how it came, you know, from the Portuguese, and then they adapted it. And then in Festivale, be sure to have your nets ready in Animal Crossing when it comes live on Monday the 15th, so you can catch all the feathers and help Pave out and dance the samba with Pave. And maybe KK's letter may make an appearance too. We do love a good KK concert on Saturday evenings. And be sure to, get your costumes ready. Ah, yes, you did go for pink. Good. I was hoping. Or else I would be very concerned. And at the very end, we looked into Pave and specifically, you know, he loves to dance, and related that to the real life amazing animal that is the Indian peafowl, and looked specifically at their feathers, not just how they vibrate and the low sounds that they can hear, but also how they orientate themselves to look more impressive in relation to the sun. I just think the animal kingdom is so full of craziness, and it's so fun to be able to share these weird stories and these weird connections with you guys. I want to thank you all for joining me again tonight. And with that, I will hopefully see you guys on Friday for the continuation of our Harmsworth Natural History series. I will say that wasn't my idea. Shout out to my better half. He has these books, and he thought, actually, you know, let's share the beautiful illustrations that are in this book, and the entire thought of looking at where science was to seeing if it's still the same today. It was entirely his idea. So thank you, dear. And with that, we will be looking at the hornbills this Friday, because nothing says romance quite like the hornbills. That is for sure. And if you don't know what I'm talking about or why I'm trying really hard not to grin, I can't wait to see you Friday, because these birds are rather fantastic and they look like something crazy. In fact, shout out to Zazu, my beloved Vonderdecken hornbill. I don't mention him in the video because I get a little bit emotional. But when I worked at London Zoo, one of my favorite talks to do was the African bird walk tour thing in the morning, because I got to go inside the walkthrough exhibit and see my friend Zazu, who I named Zazu because he's a Vonderdecken hornbill, which inspired Zazu of The Lion King. And his lady friend, I don't remember what I called her. I feel really bad. She was kind of forgetful. But she was really cute, but he was definitely more bold and brazen, and he'd come down to see me, and I had a soft spot for him, and I kind of gave him a little too much mealworms. But anyways, we chuck them into the air because we had African blue-bellied rollers in there. And so I chucked the mealworms in the air, and they would catch and do crazy acrobatic displays. And at first, Zazu would catch them as well. But then he realized I was a little softy. And so he would just come to my hand and eat out of my hand. But it was really nice because then kids got to see Zazu close up, and they're like, oh my gosh. But anyways, I could talk about Zazu for hours. So many fun stories. However, it is time to finish our episode of The Durrells, because we are watching The Durrells on Netflix, based on Gerald Durrell, and enjoying that and daydreaming of visiting Corfu. Well, it is time to go, guys. I could ramble on for hours. Thank you so much to Alice and all the friends here, and I hope to see you guys on Friday. Have a great rest of the week, guys. Bye!